Hello and welcome to the Yerky Boys. May the Kandronas shine and strengthen you. My name is Will, and unfortunately, Jonathan will not be joining us today. He was found dead in his apartment a few days ago. I don't want to get into the details on here, but according to the police report, they did find today's book next to him, open to, I believe it was chapter 3. But not to worry, we're still gonna have a podcast. Everything's gonna be okay, because I did manage to successfully perform the Atafalxical, if you remember that from book 34. And so today I will be being joined by Jonathan's Ixilla. Say hello, Jonathan's Ixilla.
The Yerky Boys.
That's us.
Oh, okay, folks. Welcome to the show.
This is book 42, The Journey.
Oh, right, The Journey. What an apt title. It was released in May 2000, so yes, this is the 24th anniversary of The Journey.
Wow. Now, I am led to believe that even though the original Jonathan may no longer be with us, you have finished the book since becoming an Ixilla.
Yeah, that happened. I finished the book.
Okay.
And welcome to all our new listeners, by the way. And this has to be said up front.
Mm-hmm.
I am sick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel good physically.
Mm-hmm.
I have loaded my body up with Dayquil and I snorted some Afrin. You ever snort some Afrin? It's
No.
wild. It's wild. It's supposed to clear your sinuses out. Anyway, I did all this, but I'm a ticking time bomb. I sort of am like an Animorph in Morph. I think I have about 2 hours before my body explodes.
That's
So
probably
I'm really holding it together.
Yeah, some spiritual Arn tech thing or whatever.
Yeah, it is that. So that's and also important, I think, to know my state of mind and body for while I was reading this book and now as I'm recording this podcast. I don't feel good.
I do have your message on Discord where you said, "I'm sick and tired and reading Animorphs. I'm not happy." I screenshotted that one.
I guess my question is, God, what did I do to deserve this? You know? I mean, specifically, because I know there's options.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that as we get into the book here.
Yeah.
Do we have any business or anything we have to discuss?
Yeah, we do. Let me tell you, Liz, I was going to do something fun this week, and then I got sick, and I just couldn't do it. I had something fun planned. I'm still hoping to do it, but it'll be maybe for next week. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's always next week.
Well, it's already dated. I won't, not to spoil anything, but it's an old thing. But anyway, we do have a sharing to do.
The sharing.
We got an email this week from Steven.
Our old buddy.
And I'm pretty sure it's my least favorite email we ever received.
Oh, good. That'll just, that ought to cheer you right up.
The subject line is the weekly Patreon plug.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Steven writes, "Hi, Yerky Boys. During your last Patreon episode, Jonathan mentioned that he wanted to draw out the intro so he'd have more time to savor an episode about one of his favorite shows. So I figured I'd give him a chance to extend this episode about what I'm sure will be one of his favorite books. I'll spare you my thoughts about your recent Patreon episodes since I want this to be read on the main feed, which is a shame because now you'll miss out on my detailed explanation of how the hydraulic press killing in The Fly, 1958, bears a striking resemblance to one of the murders in the Phoenix Wright-style murder mystery game Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony."
I don't know about this.
Anyway, I wanted to comment on a glaring omission from your Patreon, one that I'm sure will get you more patrons if you got on it. The other long-running 90s children's series, Goosebumps. I think it would be especially fun to do the books now while you're reviewing the Animorphs books, then do the TV show once you've moved on to watching the Animorphs TV show. Since it's such a long series, I'm sure you would need some recommendations on where to start. For thematically appropriate books, he recommends some books, whatever. If you're looking for something a little more contemporary, then award-winning author Ernest Cline, who wrote the critically acclaimed Ready Player One, a book I'm sure you both love, recently published his first foray into children's literature, Bridge to Bat City. The book is chock full of more bat facts than Book 17, The Underground, and packed with more pop culture references than even the densest Marco book. Also, I guess you could do Fantastic Voyage. Keep up the good work, Stephen.
I'm not fucking reading Ernest Cline. That's my first thing I'm gonna say.
I have read Ready Player One.
Oh, you have? Okay, I didn't actually know if you'd read it or not.
I read it like years ago when it was hot, like before there was backlash when it was like cool to read it.
You probably told me about it and I forgot.
And there's good parts of it, but there's also a lot of bad parts of it. I want to know why Stephen is currently reading or aware of his foray into children's literature. What? What does Stephen just keep abreast of all the literature out there? Is he a big bookworm? Or does he love Ernest? Is he on the Ernest Cline Substack or what?
I think that must be it. I think he's probably just a huge Ernest Cline head.
Yeah.
That seems like that would fit. He seems like the type.
I'm sure. I'll take your word for it. Goosebumps is on our list. That has already been on our list. It's right. That'll happen sometime.
Yeah. I don't think we have any time scheduled for it, but it's certainly on there. At some point, we should get to it, right?
Now he recommends several books. I have to say that I don't think I know any of them.
Okay.
And I read some Goosebumps as a kid. I think you read a lot. Maybe you more watched the show. I don't remember what you did.
I did read a lot. I still have a bunch of Goosebumps. Not like a complete collection. I wasn't like as big into it as Animorphs, but I did read a lot of Goosebumps.
Anyway, that's fine. I really don't. I played the first. We're just going reverse order through this email. I played the first Danganronpa game. Sorry, Lane. Skip ahead. But I remember being excited to play it because everybody talks about it. Everybody hypes it up, and I like Phoenix Wright, and I like 999 is another series. Don't worry about it. And I was excited. I didn't even finish that game, but it sucked. It's the most people there's like 6 of them. People love these games. It's the most anime fucking shit you could ever imagine. It's characters with their nose bleeding like, whoa, a girl. Ooh. I wanted to fucking blow my brains out.
Yeah, I mean, I know only what I have absorbed through people talking about it, which, yes, everybody talks about it all the time. And all I really know other than that it's a murder mystery is that it's extremely anime and a couple of the characters. I know what they look like.
Yeah.
We all know how much I love anime.
Yeah. So, sum up of this email. Fuck you, Stephen. We'll get to Ghostbumps, patreon.com/theyerkyboys if you'd like to listen to that, and theyerkyboys@gmail.com if you'd like to send an email. Yeah. Actually, question for you.
Yeah. Question for me.
Why didn't we watch Fantastic Voyage this week?
I didn't think of it. Are we gonna even do it? I don't know. Because, it's only relevant for, one fucking... Well... other than when they come back. We'll get to it, but...
Oh, no. I mean, we did Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, but they referenced that, twice. In different books, as opposed to, 4 times in the same book.
All right, well, whatever. I don't know. I've never
I
actually
don't know.
seen it. I've only seen the 18,000 parodies of it.
Yeah,
Was it a book originally? Is it a Jules Verne or some shit?
I actually looked this up. So it turns out it was originally a movie, and they hired Isaac Asimov to write the adaptation. But then the adaptation came out like months before the movie did, so everyone assumes the movie's based on the book. I didn't realize this until I like
Weird.
skimmed the Wikipedia. I thought it was an Asimov thing that became a movie.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is very strange. Yeah, I have never
Also
read
weird
the
that
Asimov book, but I think
it's
I
weird
have
to
seen the movie.
imagine Asimov as like the like for hire write a version of my movie. Like that seems above him.
Yeah, well, like actually straight up in the Wikipedia thing that I skimmed, there was a quote for him where he was like, "When they first came to me, I was like, that's beneath me. I'm not doing that." And he turned it down, but then I guess I don't know what they did. The money was too good or some shit because eventually he did it.
Did I say it was above him? I don't know. I don't know what I said.
Whatever, you're dying right now. You're on death's door.
It's good that we are filling time right now, honestly, because I mean, do we even need to do this episode? We could talk about something else. What if we just talked about like just of movies we watched lately? You know, what if we just completely diverted?
Well, you know, but you know, we do have to. I think we do have to do this episode. Is the thing.
What if we talked about last week's episode again?
Interesting.
The Familiar Part 2. What if he aged up again? 50-year-old Jake.
See, it's
it
great
doubles each time.
If people haven't read this series, I wonder if they have figured out what you're talking about yet. It's hard to know.
It's hard to know. Why would you start with this episode? Oh, you mean
like if someone hasn't read the series and is just listening through?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone like that.
I hope not. I guess if we must, we can get on to the. Oh, but also something about. Did we say like this book is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, or something funny like that?
Oh yeah, because it's book 42. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why life sucks so much.
Yeah. The nerds would really get on our ass if we didn't make a reference to that here, so.
Yeah. Now you're just trying to delay the inevitable. Well, so this book was ghostwritten by Emily Costello.
Uh-huh.
This is her only book except for Megamorphs.
More like Abbott and Costello.
Not Megamorphs, Alternamorphs. Yeah,
What's her middle name? Lou?
It's like the most generic name ever, right? When I Googled her, I just found like 20 other people who all just worked in like business or some shit. Or lawyers. I think that this lady also wrote like some other children's books like Ballet School and Animal Emergency, but who can tell? Like, I don't know. This could be anybody.
Who's her dad? Elvis?
Anyway, this is a new ghostwriter. This is not even our last new ghostwriter.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about her. I will say this, actually, though, if you want to delay talking about this book just a little longer. You know what's in the back of all these Animorphs books? They always have like a preview chapter for the next book, right? Well, this one has the preview chapter for book 43, but it also has a preview chapter for the first book of the Seventh Tower series. I don't know if you remember that.
Whoa.
Did you ever read that one?
Yeah, we talked about that on the show.
We did? Okay. I never
some point
remember.
We did. Yeah, because I loved that series as a kid. I loved it.
Well, maybe we could do a Seventh Tower. Let's talk about the Seventh Tower instead of this book.
Yeah. God, I could.
Yeah. Well, it came out in the summer after this May that this book came out in.
Let's do a Nyx cast.
That could be fun.
Talk about Sabriel.
I haven't read any of his shit except the Seventh Tower, so.
Oh man. Those are the two for me.
Could be fun.
How about a Redwall cast?
I never read Redwall. I owned it, but I never read it.
I mean, there's like 40 of them, aren't there?
Oh, well, I owned some, like, large compendium that may not have had all of it. I don't know. I didn't read it. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Emily Costello, fuck you. Burn in hell. If you're alive, then I hope you die soon.
It might be K.A. Applegate's fault. Like, I think you try to parse out, see which parts are her fault and which parts are K.A. Applegate's fault.
You're right. I mean, it's certainly not. Just K.A. Applegate is not blameless here.
Yeah. So the cover of this book, we've got Rachel turning into an elephant. Pretty innocuous. Definitely, you did not suspect when you heard that last episode what was to come.
42 books in, they had never done an elephant cover. Feels like too little, too late.
Yeah, right. Like, why? This could have been book 2. Maybe they were like, she needs to be a cat girl for the furries. We can't put this weird troll looking thing on book 2. Nobody will ever.
It does look like you.
Excuse you, don't misgender me.
The second transition there looks a lot. Sorry.
It looks like my mother is what it looks like. It's actually the spitting image of my mother.
Well, she's a lovely woman. Is this supposed to be... Why immediately, even before that second phase, I get caveman vibes from this? Like, Rachel is giving Neanderthal on this cover, in my opinion.
I see what you're talking about. It is odd because, like, she's just, like, in some floral print dress. She looks normal. But, yeah, something about her expression and position is just very... I don't know. Maybe it's because she's kind of hunched.
Yeah, it looks like they yanked her out of a natural history museum exhibit. Like, she's one of those wax figures. Her brow is kind of, like, intense. And even the dress, even though it's like a floral print, I don't know, it's got like loincloth vibes.
Huh.
It's just, that's what I'm getting from it.
That I don't get, but sure.
Dresses kind of look like.
This is still the old model of Rachel.
Yeah.
This is the last book with the old model of Rachel, and actually there's only one more Rachel book left in the series.
More like the too old model of Rachel.
Right, that's why they had to change him.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. But I do like this troll second, you know what I mean, second form.
The third one is very good too. It's kind of giving Babar to say giving again.
That's fair. Yeah, I was thinking that one just looks too elephant-ish to be interesting, but it does still have some like human brows to it going on.
She's still got the full dress on, so it's like an elephant in a dress.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that. Elephants, someone should make big dresses for elephants. I bet they'd like it.
Yeah, they like I don't know, music and shit, right?
Yeah, they like to paint.
Yeah, right. There's a quote on this cover. It says, "Rachel is about to go where no human has gone before, ...
Yeah,
So I guess
that's right.
We're done with the quippy things. We're back to the descriptive ones. Somebody needs to be consistent about this. That's all I'm asking for is consistency.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll yeah. They didn't do
it. I know, you're dying.
I'm doing fine. Folks, it's gonna be a bad episode. Don't listen.
It might be pretty good. It's just gonna be bad for you. Everyone's gonna love hearing the despair in your voice. Now, on the inner cover, it says, "An elephant never forgets, especially this elephant, ...
That's horrible. That doesn't make sense. Why? No, it should be less this elephant, because it's not an elephant.
This elephant, there's like a little bit of a return. It's kind of a sequel book in a sense. So, in that sense, it hasn't.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
In the same way that I'll never forget 9/11, I'll never forget this book.
Never forget where you were. Now, how do you feel about this inner cover?
I am looking at it now for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It is disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Does it make you feel good, what with being sick and all?
So this is Elephant Rachel with Tobias as a hork.
Mm-hmm.
Looking kind of funny.
He does look funny.
Axe is doing his thing. And they are inside of, well, we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm. But there's, it's like pink and fleshy, and there's like mucus everywhere.
But out of context, it kind of just looks like someone spilled orange soda.
Okay.
Or they spilled orange Jello, maybe.
Who loves orange soda?
Oh my god, if Kel were
Axe
here...
loves orange soda.
Oh, you turned it around.
Yeah.
Keenan and Kel episode for the Patreon.
I bet Axe and Kel would really get along.
Let's do a Dan Schneider episode. His greatest hits.
Yeah, we do love him here. The man, I mean. His work, whatever, but...
No, it's for children.
Him personally, yeah.
I respect the craft.
There's a giant boot behind them. I don't know if you can tell what it is, but it's a boot.
Okay, now I'm just confused.
Behind the animals?
Why is there... do I not remember this? Why is there a boot?
Huh. I mean, maybe if the book was all a blur to you at that point.
Are they not inside of...
Yeah.
A body?
Yeah. But there's other things that are bigger than them in there.
Oh my god, they're that much bigger? Okay.
Yeah, it was like 100 times or something.
I mean, I read that, but I didn't quite... I didn't quite visualize it as... Yeah.
Your brain was pretty much just in killing itself mode at that point.
I mean, reading 100 times versus, like, it mattering...
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's different. It's different. I mean, I didn't... Anyway, we'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused.
I feel confused.
Looking at this picture. I do like that they chose the weirdest possible shit they could for this cover. Like, no other animals, no people. We're going to put the 2 freaky aliens in there with her.
That's true. Yeah. No, that's good. I do appreciate that as well. This is definitely one of those that, if you're trying to find, like, what are the most, like, weird, fucked up inner covers that you just look at them, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this one is very simple relative to the other ones in that genre, but it is still kind of in that genre of what am I looking at?
Yeah, if you get a print of this and hang it on your wall, people will give you funny looks.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess that's true for any of them.
I don't know. If it's the one where it's literally just a bird flying over a parking lot, people will just not even notice that it's there. All right. So this book.
This book.
We are back to starting with My Name is
good.
Rachel. I think we had like 2 books in a row. We didn't start with My Name Is or something. I don't know, but we're back to it. Rachel, we open up in the middle of a fight scene again. Rachel's an elephant. They're on some mission or other. Things are going badly and they have to retreat. And they retreat and demorph in an alleyway. And as they're demorphing, some kid shows up and takes a picture of them. And they're like, oh shit, some kid got a picture of us demorphing. So they like follow him to his apartment building and they're like doing surveillance all night. Cause they're like, we're going to have to deal with this kid. The next morning, they all meet up at the barn to discuss what they're going to do about the fact that there's this picture of them out there. And that's when, the Helmicrons show up. Which is, thus explains Jonathan being dead. Now remember they use the Escafil device as a power source, so they are here to get it again. They are trying to cut it out of the freezer in Cassie's barn, where she's keeping it. Marco and Rachel go to attack the Helmicrons with like a pot and a pitchfork, and Rachel accidentally elbows Marco in the head and knocks him out. And that's when the Helmicrons abandon ship and go up Marco's nose. So that is the plot of this book. The A plot is that there are Helmicrons inside Marco. They went in his nose. And the B plot is that some kid took a picture of them, and that's out there, and they've got to get that camera back before he develops the film. Okay.
Yep. That's it.
That's what's happening this book.
That sums it up right there.
Uh-huh. When you first read the Helmicron showing up, how did that make you feel?
Upset. At first I was invested in this photo plot. I thought, this is interesting. I wonder where this will lead. Mm-hmm. Photos of them that could really, had all kinds of theories.
Yeah, I mean, like isn't that an episode of like Batman Beyond or something? Like where like the kid gets a picture of him in the Batman suit or something? I don't remember it very well.
I don't remember that, but sure, probably.
The point is you could do something fun with this, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Or like lead into something more serious. Have it be your intro little action.
Yeah, which is what they did, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I just was sort of in disbelief. This is how you can blame K. Applegate, because no one else would bring them back. This was mandated from the top. No one liked them.
I liked them.
No one wanted them back. No.
I don't know that I wanted them back, but I did like them.
No. No. I mean, I kind of said this at the top, but I wrote down, why are you doing this to me, God? What did I deserve this? I wrote, why is this happening? Who is responsible for this? And I also wrote, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read about Helmicrons. I don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
Stop this right now.
Right. I think my favorite part of the Helmicrons coming back is how many times I made jokes on this podcast about the Helmicrons coming back, or about the second Helmicrons book, and you just thought they were jokes, and you didn't know that I was being serious the whole time, and that there was another.
I need you to tell me right now, and I'm fucking serious. Is there more Helmicrons books? And don't
like that's
play
the
with
best
me.
part. Is that now?
Tell me right
when
now.
I make my
tell me right now
my jokes, quote unquote, about the third Helmicron book.
No,
you won't know, right? Because
no, I don't know. I don't want to hear any
one?
jokes. No, you need to fucking tell me.
Is
right
there
now.
no more? Who knows, right? Who can say?
If another
How
Helmicron, if the
there
word,
are.
if I see the word helmet too fast, I will go on a rampage. I will fuck up the Pentagon or something. Something will happen.
So all
don't
you
come
fans
to
out there,
school that day.
When you read about the incident in the news, you'll know what book we're on.
They couldn't. They did. I'm sure they didn't do that. 12 books to go. They could not have wasted one more book on Helmicrons again. I don't think they'll do it.
Well, we'll see then, I guess. I'm very excited for the rest of this.
Let's live for a moment in the blissful period before the word Helmicron appeared.
Yeah, okay. Let's live in that period.
Let's live in the opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel's an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
She's wantonly murdering human beings.
Yeah. There's just a normal thing she does now as an elephant. I never say it. It's always just like, I stabbed them with my tusks and flung them 50 feet. And who knows what happened after that? Maybe they got up and walked away. It's probably fine.
It is crazy. I mean, she's just picking them up with her trunk and hurling them. Like, at best, their back is broken. They're paralyzed for life or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. That's just how it is right now. Well, you didn't even talk about what I also thought would be the plot of this book, It isn't. The reason they're here is because they're mass producing portable Kandronas.
Yes.
But she have given them this intel.
Yeah, this is also a good, just like, if you just wanted to write, like, I mean, I was gonna say, if you just wanted to write a filler book, this is the sort of thing that slots in nicely into the, teens or 20s. You just be like, oh, they're making portable Kandronas, gotta go stop them.
Sure.
It could even be a major plot thing, because maybe they'll succeed, and now the Yerk pool isn't a vulnerability, and it totally changes the plot in the, like, back end of the series. We don't really worry about that for the rest of this book, so.
Nope, it's just some bullshit to get them in here right now. But hey, so was the anti-morphing ray, so maybe this will come up again. I don't know. I did make me wonder how exactly a portable Kandrona works. Like, do you need to charge it? Is it self-sustaining? Why don't they mass produce them? Like, why did they just think to do that now?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good question, because, like, clearly they do need charging. Because, like, that was, like, a whole thing in book 30. Visser 1 was like, I only have enough portable Kandrona left for, like, 2 more, whatever it was. I can last 6 days or something. I don't know. It was like a thing. She was on a time limit because of her portable Kandrona.
How does the Yerk pool, is that self-sustaining? Do they have to come down every 6 months and gas it up?
Yeah, that is being charged remotely by a Kandrona on board the Yerk pool ship. Like, the mothership in orbit, I believe, is just beaming.
How do Kandronas work?
Well, they're probably are, like, charging up their Kandrona particle generator from, like, solar panels in space or something, and then they're beaming the particle, like, it's, just like you would beam, like, light or something down into the Yerk pool somehow. I don't know.
Okay. Good enough for me.
Yeah, I don't know how they're charging their portable Kandronas, though, or like, maybe they can be battery. Maybe you can hook them up to the power grid or something. I don't know.
Lucky for us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, lucky it's not important.
Also, as they're leaving this fight scene here.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, again, yet another. We just keep starting off with these fight scenes. That's all they know how to do anymore.
Yeah. When are they going to go back and try to solve a maze as a rat?
Yeah, give me some price cut Polly. Give me something fun.
Yeah.
They say we got to get out of here. We only have 3 minutes left in Morph. 3 minutes. God, what the fuck are you doing? How you cut it pretty fucking close? Jesus Christ.
I was thinking about this because I feel like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, right, that they used to worry about this all the time. Like, that used to be, like, the thing. We're running out of time. We got to demorph now. And then they just kind of didn't do that anymore. Right? Like that's come up once or twice, but it hasn't been a serious thing since, like, I don't know, probably even before David, right?
Yeah.
But then here we do that, like, right at the beginning. And actually, there's another thing that happens later in the book where they're like, oh no, we've only got 5 minutes left or you'll be trapped in Morph. I don't know. It kind of feels like they're trying to do that. I don't know if they're trying to do that again, or if the Emily Costello is just like, I don't know. I read some of these. They were almost trapped in Morph once, right? That's like a thing. They did.
It's one of those weird things where I imagine if you've read this whole series, especially if you read it not recently, that all these details in your mind, the timeline gets fuzzy and you're like, oh yeah, that was like a thing they were always worried about because it was like peppered in. You forget that they just didn't for 15 books.
Oh yeah, 100%. When you're just reading these at like an hour a book and you're just kind of like chugging through them. Yeah, you don't. It all kind of blends together.
But I guess credit to the book, kind of, because immediately my thought was, gee, they have 3 minutes to morph. She's an elephant. pretty easy for someone to just follow her
Yeah.
and see them demorphing. And, well, they did it. That happened. So it's like, okay, I guess that's, accountability there.
Sure. I guess that can count as accountability.
I don't know what a word means. What a word means. What a word wants. Whatever definition the dictionary gives you. Okay. Listen to my brain collapsing in real time.
That's the joy of this podcast. This is why I did in fact need to bring back your Axilla for the podcast, because uh I also don't have that much to say about this book. So like, it is really going to come down to you just dying the entire time.
Don't do me a favor, don't say Axilla again.
Axilla.
Please.
Atafalxicle.
Boy, imagine if there was cell phones in the Animorphs. Boy, that would really boy, you couldn't write this today, because boy, cell phones would really all those plot lines wouldn't work, because if they had cell phones, if they could text each other, oh man.
Now, one thing that I do want to talk about here, and I know you probably just have nothing to say on the issue because you're fucking done, but I do want to say, when it comes to these Helmicrons, right?
Oh yeah, we can go to them.
What I enjoyed most about them in the other book, right? What's enjoyable is when, like, Marco and Cassie are on the Helmicron ship, and, like, Marco has to grovel, and the Helmicrons are doing their weird society things. We find out about mail. There's the bits where the Helmicrons are antagonizing Visser 3, right? All of those things are fun and funny to me. And if you're going to bring the Helmicrons back, what I want is either more of that kind of thing, or like something new about the Helmicrons that is in line with that kind of thing. And I think for me, like, you're going to see it going forward. There's no particularly good point to talk about it, except maybe at the end of the book, or right here. So you might as well, is that like, that just kind of doesn't happen, right? It's just like, the book is going to be like, the Helmicrons are in Marco, and the Animorphs got to stop him in Marco. We don't really get a lot of, like, the most of the Helmicron interactions we get are just the Helmicrons being like, we are the Helmicrons and we are the greatest, over and over again. It's not new. It's not even as much as we got the first book, much less like expanding on it. They don't do anything fun like antagonize the Yeerks, or like, we can play with the fact that everybody thinks they're annoying and hates them, right? Like, that's just not, they're just in Marco. And it's just to me, it's just such a boring use of the Helmicrons, which we'll see as we continue. But I do think, like, for me, that's really the big issue here.
It is a bit odd, as you said. They are not really in that much of the book comparatively.
Yeah.
Their presence is important, but they're always like seen from afar. We don't have any real interactions, or at least not that many of them.
Yeah, like, every time there's an interaction, it's like, oh, we had a clash with the Helmicrons, and then it's over. It's not like they led us to the slave room with the other males and made us growl. That's basically all they did. But I liked those two things that they did.
Now, I do wonder, and maybe we'll explore this as we go on, but I do wonder, how might I feel about this book, at least going into it, had I not read the other Helmicron book? How much of my unhappiness comes from this versus just trauma of the previous Helmicron's experience?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to say, because, like, we'll probably talk about it more when we get to the end, but, like, I do feel like this book is not a disaster in the way that book 24 was a disaster. Like, it is a book, right? It's not like, it doesn't just, like, completely fall apart and then it's just, 20 pages of gibberish. But it also, I can't, like, go in and be like, look at how fun this section is, though. Like book 24 had really fun parts that I loved, and then it also just fell apart and didn't function. Whereas this book for me is more along the lines of, like, kind of boring.
Yeah, the book 24 was terrible, but it was interesting to discuss how shockingly terrible it was. At least up to a point.
Mm.
And this book doesn't quite have that same impact.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it comes out. In some ways, I think being boring is the worst sin when it comes to, I don't know, whatever. But well, like, yeah, hard to say. All right, I guess we can start talking about what they do here. So Marco wakes up. Remember, Rachel had knocked him out, and the Helmicrons went up his nose. Marco wakes up, and they decide that the best course of action here, I guess I alluded to it already, is that they're gonna shrink down the Animorphs. They're gonna use the Helmicron ship to shrink down the Animorphs, and then the Animorphs will go into Marco's nose and find the Helmicrons and stop them. So Axe fixes up the Helmicron ship with, so he can shrink them. And meanwhile, Marco will go handle the kid with the photo or whatever. And Jake's like, all right, Marco, no morphing while we're inside you because we don't know what the hell will happen to us if we're in you when you morph. So, okay. So Marco's going to have to do that. No morphing. They all shrink down and Marco, they get on a piece of hay and Marco sticks the hay up his nose so they can all go in there. It's too mucusy in his nose for the Animorphs to walk because there's too much snot and stuff. So they all morph to bird and fly deeper into his nose. They eventually reach the Helmicrons who are in there. And when they get there, they find that the Helmicrons are gigantic. The Helmicrons are 100 times the size of the Animorphs because they had sabotaged their shrink ray so that it would shrink the Animorphs down even more than they thought it was going to. And then there's like also some shenanigans where like Marco sneezes or something like that, and they like have to hide in the snot to avoid getting blown out. Sure. Okay. So now the Animorphs are tiny again, and they're so tiny that the Helmicrons are huge, and they're also inside Marco. And they're going to be going through his body. And this is where they start referencing the Fantastic Voyage.
Yes. Literally, they reference. Do they? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They mention it. Yeah.
I believe over the course of this book, they reference it at least 3 times. Like by name.
Marco, so Rachel almost kills Marco.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, legit, he knocks his head on the corner of the freezer. Like he should have a concussion. He could have died.
I mean, he got knocked out. He probably should have a concussion. Yes,
but
100%.
I mean, I think I've talked about this before. That's just that's some fiction trope. You don't get concussions. You just get knocked out. It's fine.
Yeah.
I still don't like. I'm already unhappy, but now I'm not happy that like Marco's getting injured. This doesn't make me happy. It's being played for laughs. He's like about to die.
It's kind of funny though.
He wakes up, and here's the quote that should have been on the cover of this book.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up and says, "What happened?" Rachel responds, quote, "Well, not anything good. Not anything you're going to like." Put that on the cover, folks. Sums it up right there.
I feel like there are a lot of quotes in here that you probably clipped. I didn't like write them all down, but there are sure a lot of times where Marco's like, God damn it, why did the Helmicrons have to show up? Or Rachel being like, I saw the Helmicrons and already I was mad. Kind of thing.
Yep. Didn't help. Didn't make me feel better. But they do comment on it.
I thought maybe it would make you feel a little better.
This is where I wrote, please tell me this isn't the plot of this whole book now.
It's most of it.
There's, okay. The Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah. But they also reference the Magic School Bus, yeah.
Well, and that shows you how educated I am. Was the first thing I thought of was, oh, it's the Magic School Bus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was for me too, but to be fair, I was a kid when I first read this, so that association's going to be stronger.
Sure, same. I also wrote, who's going to watch the kid with the camera? Shouldn't that be the plot of this book? Why is there another plot? Okay, anyway.
Marco will go deal with that.
Marco, we'll get to that later, but they make this whole to-do about the Helmicrons knowing too much.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we need to stop them because they know who we are and they might be working with the Yeerks.
They do that.
Don't they already know?
Yeah, they already
knew who they were before.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, it seems like the implication is if they didn't know too much, they'd just leave them in Marco and be like, eh.
There are a lot of parts of this book where the Animorphs just kind of sit down and have a discussion about what they're going to do and why they're going to do it. And those discussions are, like, always very meandering and unnecessary. Like, you don't really need to sit down and have a discussion about, like, okay, let's talk about the implications of what happens if we don't go stop these Helmicrons in Marco's body. It's like, yeah, we already know you have to stop them. Okay, you don't have to tell me why. We know why. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, right. Yeah, aliens in body, get them out.
Yeah, it's very like Padding-ish, Paddington.
Yeah,
Bear.
There's a lot of Paddington Bear in this book. How many times do I have to say it? They need to do something about this stupid fucking cube.
Mm-hmm.
They need to just get rid of this cube. It's a liability. It's not worth keeping around. Use it or lose it. Just fucking hydraulic press this thing like in Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony or whatever it's called.
That sounds like what you said before.
Yeah, it's close.
It could be right for all I know.
Danganronpa, I don't know how you say it. Just fucking fuck this cube. Whatever. It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
But if they didn't have the cube around, if they didn't keep it around, we wouldn't be able to keep writing Helmicrons books because that's what they're after. That's
true.
Is the cube.
Yeah, that's what they like. They love that cube, baby.
Yeah.
Boy, just wait. Next year, the GameCube's going to come out. They're going to lose their shit.
Oh, that's true. That's a little bluish.
Actually, maybe that's 2000. I don't remember. Maybe it is this year. Did GameCube come out pre or post 9/11? Anyway.
Jonathan's just, what can I talk about that's not Helmicrons?
Now, Helmicrons. Here's something about Helmicrons. Shut up. I'll talk about them.
Do it.
I was confused. They say later on there's like a dozen Helmicrons.
Yeah,
How many Helmicrons are there?
There's not a ton of Helmicrons in Marco's nose. Maybe they all killed each other. Maybe now that the males and females have joined separate factions, they're not breeding anymore. I don't know. There's not a lot of them.
There were there were a lot more last time, weren't there?
Yeah, they were. I thought. I always that's the impression you get, that there's a lot of them in there.
And also, when they go into Marco's nose, they just completely abandon their ship. They don't leave anyone behind.
Run out of their ship. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's what they do.
They sabotage the shrink ray. Here's an alternate suggestion. Have someone fly the ship, and then they can't use it at all. You know?
They only had a dozen Helmicrons to work with to take Marco hostage.
How many do you need?
Well,
to go in there.
They're split into two factions, the males and the females, and they have to kill each other every time they disagree about something. So, I don't know.
Okay. Where's the captain?
The captain's dead.
I know, but they always take orders from him.
Her. Well, there's probably a male captain too now, actually.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the corpse is probably still back on the ship, right?
Now, see, that is an element here that almost could be interesting if they explored it, which is that the Animorphs inadvertently they broke the Prime Directive, and they caused like Hermione with Dobby and the House Elves. They caused a revolt amongst the male Helmicrons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, there's something that could be interesting there, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter at all.
I did listen. That's one of the better parts of the other thing is fucking Wuss and his MRA revolution. And that pays off here in the sense of now when the Helmicrons yell at each other, as opposed to being all like, we are from the Galaxy Blaster and you are from the whatever that other ship was called and we hate each other. Now they're like, we are the females and you are the males and we hate each other. And it's not different and it doesn't matter. And it just doesn't matter. It's just because we never really see them. Like the Helmicrons are like 100 times their size. So it's always like, well, there's a Helmicron boot. We can't really fight them because they're too big. So we're just going to keep following them around as they yell. Right? Like,
yeah. I don't, for whatever reason, I did not really, as I said, looking at the inside cover, it did not occur to me I know it said 100 times bigger, but like, what are they even? Rachel's like, I'm going to go after him. Like, you're not going to do anything.
yeah.
You're the size of their toe.
Yeah, like I'll talk about it more when we get actual examples, but I do think this book is not very concerned with the logistics of just how big that, like, I think you're not wrong to not quite understand how big they were relative to the Helmicrons, because I don't think this book paid any attention to how big anything was. In a way that's very strange when in the first Helmicrons book, we had like 3 fucking paragraphs that was just Axe walking us through simple like division problems so that he could tell us exactly what percentage of an inch tall they were after each morph or something.
Well, and also every other line was a thing the size of the Statue of Liberty flew at me. They had so many of those size comparisons, and they didn't really do that here.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that the sizes line up or make sense as we go through, but which, you could say that's nitpicky, but you could also just be like, what else am I going to talk about? I mean, additionally, though, there is also the issue of, like, looping back to the Fantastic Voyage, you could sort of think of because these are kids' books, like, oh, okay, so Kay Applegate is writing this series about animals. They morph into animals, and that's a good way to kind of shoehorn in some animal facts. So you could kind of think of this as like this is an anatomy book. We're going to use this as an excuse to teach kids a little bit about anatomy as they go through. Right? Could be kind of a fun thing. And if you think of that as like an actual serious ambition of the book, then it becomes kind of a huge deal if they just don't understand scale or things. I don't know.
What does this book teach you about anatomy? Tells you what stomach acid is and about arteries, I guess.
There's some stuff about the liver that I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. The heart pumps blood.
Yeah, if you stop the heart, you'll die.
Yeah. Right?
Don't do that.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I did like that Rachel expresses a lot of concern for Marco in this book.
Yeah, there are a number of points where you could definitely try to do some.
And should.
Well.
And it's intentional. And she's really like, she holds Marco and wants to like comfort him. She's really worried about him. And I think that's sweet.
I don't know if that happens.
It does. It does. It does.
I don't know.
It does.
I don't know.
It's in the text. It's in the text. You know what I realized is kind of ironic?
What?
I thought about this the other day. I shipped Marco and Rachel. But I did not like when Joey and Rachel start dating on Friends. And they're kind of similar. It's kind of a similar pairing.
That's true. That is kind of a similar pairing.
I didn't care for it. What does that say about me? I don't know. I don't know.
When we do our Friends cast, we'll explore that in greater detail.
Okay. Now they talked about they tell him not to morph.
Yes.
Again, this is yet another thing that I don't understand.
Well, they're going to be inside him, so they don't know what the hell's going to happen to them when he morphs.
Okay, so I sort of get that if they're inside of him, but at first they're not inside of him. Okay, only the Helmicrons are.
Yeah.
And Axe says this is unprecedented. We don't know what will happen if you morph with a foreign agent or a foreign body. I forget what he says. Foreign, maybe he says organism, a foreign something.
I thought he was just talking about later when they were gonna go in him.
I don't know. Either way, he
Sure.
uses those.
Yeah.
He says, as far as I know, this is an unprecedented event in the history of morphing technology. There's no way to predict what the redistribution of his mass into Z-space and the substitution of a foreign DNA will do to our miniaturized bodies.
Mm-hmm.
See, I guess the concern mainly is for their bodies, not his.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could be concerned about a fly-type scenario where Marco becomes part Helmicron.
Perhaps. But, I have to think, well, hold on. Like, every time you morph, I mean, there are germs on you. You could have, like, all kinds of... There's foreign DNA, technically, on you, right?
I ate a steak.
All the time. Yes, exactly.
Part cow.
Yes. So... Like, why not just, before they go into his body, just try morphing, see what happens. They'll either leave or maybe they'll die, and maybe it'll be all good.
Yeah, if they're concerned that the morphing process might end up killing them, then yeah, Marco should try that. So I guess the concern must be that Marco will turn into the Fly.
I guess so.
And it's not as if... It's like a Grundlefly. Grundlefly?
That's either way is fine.
Yeah.
Cassie does not raise any objections in this book to murdering hordes of Helmicrons, which they do. So,
well, because they're fungible.
I don't remember what that means. I don't.
They have like a hive mind. Their like mind joins into all the other minds when they die. It means they're not like NFTs. They're not apes.
Right.
Like we're apes, human beings. Like we're primates. We're a type of ape. They aren't, and so they are fungible.
They don't explain that again in this book. They just say, remember, they're fungible. And I didn't, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, and as a 10-year-old child reading this book, had I not read the first book, I definitely would have just said, oh, they're fungible. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So anyway, so far this is like multiple things already occurring that to me just don't make sense or have obvious ways around them that no one's considering.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like that.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Reasonable. I get it. You're kind of...
I did like... Yes?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you're actually kind of like Asimov here, in a sense. Because I had some notes here, because this is where I skimmed Wikipedia, and I found that apparently Asimov's biggest issue when he was writing the Fantastic Voyage book was that he was like, well, but you can't miniaturize the stuff because, you lose information. Like, you can't have the same number of molecules in cells, so you would lose information. And if you shrunk it, then the atoms wouldn't work the same way. So that just can't work. It's not possible. So that was his biggest issue. And apparently, I guess when he wrote it, he spent way too much time explaining how that worked and why it was totally possible.
Well, I am as smart as Isaac Asimov.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this all tracks. I enjoyed when Rachel told Marco he looks tall now.
Mm-hmm.
And too bad you can't shrink the whole school. And he says, ha ha, and free this month only. A bonus, ha.
Yeah, Marco's kind of funny in this book.
That's pretty good.
Speaking of Marco being funny, this is the first point where it happens. We get in the middle of this whole storyline when Marco's gonna put the hay up his nose. We get a brief switch to a Marco POV, and throughout the rest of the book, we're gonna get back and forths. The camera B plot is gonna be done from Marco's POV, and the inside Marco will be Rachel. So we get a little bit of Marco in this book.
Chaos, sheer chaos.
I don't know that
mid book switch madness.
Isn't this the thing you're always asking for? Dogs
and cats living together. Yeah, Yeah, I guess I like it. I mean, I liked it a lot because every time we were with Marco, it meant we were not with Helmicrons. So
That's true, yeah. The Marco parts are definitely better.
Yeah, well, why don't we talk about the first Marco part?
All right. What, you don't want to talk about the Helmicron ship logs that are back?
Do you?
No. Okay. But they're back. You get a couple of them. They aren't good this time. They were much better before. I hate these ones. They're not as fun. Anyway. All right, so they did all that. They were doing all that bullshit in Marco's body. So we're in Marco's point of view. He's chilling out because he's like, "What the fuck am I gonna do? I've got these things in me." And he's like, "All right, I'll go see what I can do about this kid who has this photo and see if I can get that camera." So he heads over to the apartment as a human because he can't morph. It's in kind of like a seedy neighborhood. It's like the whole place is like abandoned and falling apart. He hops the fence and climbs up the fire escape to the apartment in like broad daylight. He looks in the window and he sees the camera. So he's just like, all right, fuck it, nobody's around. So he just opens the window. Again, it's like 11 a.m. on a Saturday, and he just breaks into the house in broad daylight. But there is a pit bull in the house, and the pit bull attacks him and bites his arm and mangles him up real good, and he has to beat the pit bull with a baseball bat to get it to let go. So he retreats, he's out of there, and his arm's like kind of all fucked up, and since he's not allowed to morph to fix it, he's just kind of got a messed up dog bite on his arm. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens in this chapter. This is your blessed no Helmicrons chapter.
Well, here's what I do like here. I actually do kind of think it's an interesting wrinkle to add to Marco, that he's alone. He has to figure this out. Meanwhile, there's a battle raging inside of his body. That he can't affect and doesn't know what's going on. I almost would like the book if this was just a Marco POV book and we didn't ever have to go in there.
Yeah, I mean, like that is the thing I obviously thought about, because we always ask, like, why is this a whoever book? There is no reason that this has to be a Rachel book or an anybody book. It's just whoever does it isn't getting a book, unless you make it a Marco book and you spend the whole time not talking about the Helmicrons, and that's just like a ticking time bomb going on. And I do think that the few chapters from Marco's POV are just like leagues better than the rest of the book.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's just like, oh, thank God this dirty water doesn't have literal shit in it, at least. I don't know.
I think they're fine. I think they're fine. I don't think that they're bad. The fact that they feel much, much better, yeah, I don't know that they're good, but they're not bad.
It is important that it's a Rachel book because, again, there's the whole Marco-Rachel thing going on. Marco at one point says he's thinking about what to leave out if he dies. He wants to leave a note. And he says he wants to tell Rachel about the dream he had where she begged him to marry her.
Yeah, because he's kind of a harasser like that.
You say harasser, I say romantic. You know, we all have our own views of things.
Yeah, well, you know.
What I don't like is what the parts, as we said, inside of the body where it's clear that now this is all just a vehicle for gross out humor.
Yeah. Is it even humor, or is it just being gross?
Well, yeah, I guess it's not. I don't know if it's not like jokes, but it's just for kids to go, oh, sick, ew, or whatever. I don't know.
It's funny because I definitely, as a child, did not have that reaction, and I think you're right. I think that is what you're supposed to get out of this book, which is why, as a kid, I was kind of like, oh, the Helmicrons are back. I like Helmicrons. All right, there's that book done. I read it. Sure.
The next day in school. Oh, did you read the latest Animorphs The Journey? The Helmicrons returned. Get away from me, loser. Punch, punch. But you don't understand. They went inside of Marco this time. It was. Do you want to read it? Shut the fuck up, little bitch. Oh, God.
I know you're trying to make fun of me, but I would never have talked to another student. It's too much of a loser for that.
Fair enough.
I do. Well, yeah, go ahead.
No.
All right, and I do like there is a little bit in here that I enjoy where there's a bit of an implication that this neighborhood is not dissimilar to where Marco was living pre-book, what was it, 10 or 15, when he moved to the better house? I think it was 10, he was in the better house. Like there's a whole thing where he's like, yeah, I knew firsthand that nobody would live here because they wanted to. Because it's like a bad neighborhood. It's like some character moments.
Yeah, sure. We got some references to Nora and Euclid.
Yes, that's true. I always love Nora and Euclid. It's too bad Nora's not actually in the book. She's just mentioned.
Yeah, Marco also now a dog beater.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was a pit bull. K Applegate's weighing in on the discourse here. I mean, this is the one thing, is that it's a good thing we switched to Marco for this POV, because if it was Rachel, she'd probably have fucked it. You know how those white women are.
You're right. Although in Rachel's case, she usually goes more for birds, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, if this thing was a psychopath trying to attack her, that's kind of her type.
Yeah, good point.
They do make a point that I think is very funny, where Marco's got this, like, angry pit bull hanging off of his mangled arm, and there's blood everywhere. And Marco's like, I picked up a baseball bat and whacked it so that it would let go of me. Oh, but not too hard. I didn't want to hurt it or anything. It was just a soft tap to make it let go. And it's like, come on. Like, you can hit the dog with a baseball bat. It's fucking eating your arm. It's okay, I promise you.
That was probably an editor's note.
I don't think the editors ever read this.
You're right. How about the dirty homeless Chi?
Yeah, another. I feel like the last Chi was posing as a homeless woman, so there's multiple Chi here that are homeless.
Please, we say unhoused now.
Not me.
How do you think that Chi feels when they're handing out Chi assignments for their lifetimes? I'm going to be a teacher. Oh, I'm a lawyer. How about me? Oh, you get to be a street person.
That would be me. I'm the Chi who always volunteers for that.
It's kind of like John Wick, the society of homeless people.
The assassin homeless people. I feel like in that society, just like everybody is incidentally an assassin, so those people were just like, they didn't choose to be homeless, they just were legitimately homeless and also assassins.
Yeah, that's probably closer to the truth. At this point in the book, I am nearing the end of my notes.
All right, I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't have things to say. They're very nitpicky, but like, I will have things.
Okay, great.
So, that's something. All right. So, okay. So back to the Animorphs inside Marco. We're done with Marco. He got attacked by a dog. All right. They recover from the sneeze or whatever, and they morph. They're like half battle morphs. They're like half birds, like owls, so that they can see in the dark because it's dark. They have like a confrontation with the Helmicrons. There's some yelling and neeping. You remember how the Helmicrons go neep, neep, neep?
Yeah, I had forgotten, but this reminded me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, well, because they're tiny, their battle morphs can't really hurt them. Like, Rachel's an elephant, so she comes up to like their ankles or something and tries to gore their foot, but it doesn't really matter because the Helmicrons have Dracon beams. And the Helmicrons are like, yeah, fuck you. We're going to go off and find Marco's heart, and we're going to shoot him in the heart and kill him. And they all jump down Marco's throat. Rachel falls in the esophagus after them as an elephant, and she starts getting digested by stomach acid, and it's very painful and gross, and like she's melting. A couple of Helmicrons die. The other Animorphs follow down as bats, because it's like totally pitch dark. Whatever. There's more Dracon firing. The Animorphs all fall into the acid. Cassie morphs into a whale, so that they can all climb on her back, and she's big enough that she's not literally dying. And the Helmicrons escape the stomach acid by blowing a hole in the wall and jumping into Marco's bloodstream. Okay. I only have a brief pause here before we continue, even though that's a lot of chapters.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a couple of like quick things. You know, as you said earlier, there's a lot of gross out shit. Lots of like my skin is bubbling and I'm being eaten alive. Lots of like, what if we just make Marco throw up? Kind of gross stuff.
Yeah.
I like Axe's idea.
I was pretty sure. I was pretty sure this book was going to end with Marco shitting them out.
And wouldn't you have preferred that?
I don't know.
Well,
anyway,
there's I like Axe's idea of like a trick when they're like, "Oh, we could try to here's the plan. What if we tell the Helmicrons we'll give them the Escafil device if they leave, and then we leave, and then we don't do that." It's a pretty. I feel like. See, the problem here is that they need Marco to come up with a real plan because Axe is too much of a lame ass to actually figure out like a good like subterfuge plan. Because it turns out that doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's also a bit where when Rachel is trying to gore their foot, the Helmicron says, "Your weight is not enough to bruise the Hilna of a mighty Helmicron." So I guess they have Hilnas.
Yeah. New lore. Yeah.
There's a bit where one of the Helmicrons calls the other group of Helmicrons jackanapes.
That's always a good one.
I liked the jackanapes.
Yeah.
That's most of what I had.
Jackanapes.
Yeah. Topical, because of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh, right. Planet of the Jackanapes.
Planet of the Jackanapes. Yeah. No, like I said, I don't know. I stopped here because there was a lot of chapters, but I mostly just had comments on minor things. We can, if you don't have anything to say, we can move on. If you do, we can talk about your things.
I mean, I guess it's worth noting that Tobias, as we said, is in his Hork morph, which he rarely uses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know why he's using it. Because they can see in the dark? Is that what it is?
I mean, they clearly, like... Well, I guess they needed battle morphs. Maybe he doesn't have an owl. And they were like, everybody's got to be battle morphs or owls to see in the dark.
Yeah, Tobias has never just found an owl in his many, many hours of flying around aimlessly day and night.
He spends
never thought I should grab one.
Yeah, like all this time, like there are so many passages in books where he's just like, man, I'm so envious of owls. Like I can't see shit at night. They're so cool. But I don't know if he ever got an owl more. Maybe he did and I just forget. I don't know. Who cares?
Doesn't matter. I also am not sure about, again, Rachel's decision to be an elephant. Like, is that the best choice for inside of a nose?
Well, she's got to be big enough to hurt them. She doesn't have a lot of options.
But you can't. She's not.
Yeah. Right, but Rachel doesn't. Rachel is going to try. Hey, fucking Axe killed a T-Rex. He could maybe bring down a Helmicron the size of a skyscraper, right? As an Andalite, right?
Sure.
Not really. I don't know. What do you want?
And again, they are just murdering so many Helmicrons and no one... They're all fine with it. Yeah, they're fungible. I know. Whatever. They're fucking fungible.
Yeah, you do know. You know
Shut
all about
fuck up.
Fucking fungibility.
Are we going to talk about their whether or not they're amphibious, or is that for the next part?
I honestly just kind of, you can talk about it wherever you want. I skipped it in my notes because it was another one of those things where it's like they spend forever talking about this and it doesn't really matter because, like, they've got a whole conversation where they're like, okay, the Helmicrons went into the blood, so like, are they dead? Did they drown? Maybe they have gills. Maybe they're amphibious. Can they see? We turned into bats so we can see. Can they see really good in the dark? Oh, well, the ships are well lit, so maybe they can. We never find out how they're breathing underwater, how they can see. We just see the Animorphs discuss it for like a chapter. It doesn't really matter. It just fills a chapter. Did you know that the stomach is full of acid that digests food? It's connected to the esophagus, which is in your throat. That's a pretty fun anatomy fact.
Well, I thought a fun anatomy theory is they say, oh, well, they have noses.
Mm-hmm.
And then Axe is like, well, maybe the nose is for something else. Although it's hard to imagine. So I'm thinking that's for fucking.
Fair, yeah.
Probably that's their genitals.
A little dick nose thing going on.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, I did like the follow-up there where he's like that, where people are like, that doesn't make sense, and somebody's like, Axe eats with his hooves. Like, you don't fucking know what that body part is for. That was good. I liked that.
It's a good point.
Yeah, it's too bad it doesn't fucking matter. It's just a long-ass conversation. Fucking Christ. All right.
I think it's over. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next. No, they also spend a lot of time in that same conversation talking about, like, I guess we morph. What do we morph? To follow them into the bloodstream. Dolphins? No, because they need to surface. Maybe sharks. Can sharks breathe blood? Maybe. Turns out, I guess they can. Sure, why not? I don't know. Does it make sense? I don't care. Whatever. It seems like it could. Whatever. I have the phrase, does this make sense? I don't care, written like 3 times in my notes from this point forward. So they turn into sharks.
Yeah.
They're in the bloodstream. There's some stuff about, like, they love blood because they're sharks, so then they're swimming in blood. They look at a bunch of blood stuff, like red blood cells and white blood cells and stuff like that. And Rachel sees like a tiny little spiky thing that looks out of place, like it shouldn't be here. And she's like, "Oh, I don't like that thing. Kind of gives me a bad feeling." And then they end up in the liver. And they don't want to get processed as toxins in the liver because that's what the liver does. So instead, they swim upwards toward the heart. Okay, there's a lot more chapters of this. Now, here's a lot of the parts where it feels like they're trying to do like a magic school bus, teach you things about anatomy, but like the mechanics of the book don't line up. Like, for example, they're like, oh, well, the blood doesn't look red because actually the red comes from the red blood cells and we're swimming in plasma. The red blood cells are like, we're small enough that those are just individual things. So it looks like plasma. Except that, no, it doesn't because there's no light. We just spent forever talking about all the morphs where we know you can't see. Like, we just know, like, that it doesn't fucking look like anything. Also, okay, so you can see the individual red blood cells. You can breathe because the blood's oxygenated, but it's oxygenated in the blood cells, so the blood cells are small enough to pass through your gills. But no, they're big enough for you to see, so actually they're probably not. Right? Or are they? Last book, when they were the size of a fly relative to a helmicron, they could see individual cells. They could land on individual cells, because that's how small they were. In this book, the only time we talk about individual cells is these red blood cells. They don't, like, see the, like, lining of Marco's nose as cells. They don't see the cells of the helmicrons as cells. How big are they relative to cells? I don't know. It's not consistent. We just wanted to talk about red blood cells and white blood cells, okay? So it's here. Does it make sense? I don't know. Fuck it. Oh, there's a virus. A virus is like at most 1/10 the size of a cell. So if those cells are just barely visible, Rachel's not seeing that virus. Does that make sense? I don't know. We wanted her to see a virus. Fuck it. Who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. None of this matters. It's just, again, like I said, like who fucking, it's all fucking nitpicks. It doesn't fucking matter. If in the first book they didn't spend so much time talking about the mechanics, I probably wouldn't care about it. If the book was more interesting, I probably wouldn't care about it. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, I wish I'd stayed home from school today.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he says?
I feel like it's phrased differently because I feel like it's a catchphrase and he says like the exact words. I don't know.
He's got
You're
some
basically
kind of a catchphrase.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish Ms. Frizzle would fuck me.
That's what I say when I read those books.
We'll get to that later.
Will we?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say.
I got even more bullshit
you said is right.
To complain about this. Fucking, there's a bit where axes like trees don't actually breathe. Yes, they do. Trees breathe. You're fucking stupid, Axe. The bit about the liver is going to process them as toxins and send them to the colon. Is that right? Is that how livers work? I thought that livers, like, converted toxins either to things that weren't toxic or to things that were, like, standardized so that other organs could filter them out, like kidneys. Maybe they do send things straight to the colon. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. It does feel like this book... Like, she was like, let's write a bunch of anatomy facts, but it does kind of come across like, I learned these facts in middle school and did not look them up again. I just wrote the fucking book. I feel like when K.A. Applegate writes animal facts, she doesn't always get them right, but she at least, like, tries to look them up to see if they're right.
You see, in the year 2000, our understanding of biology was very different.
Maybe it is right. Maybe the liver sends toxins straight to the colon. I thought that wasn't right, but maybe it is. I don't know. I don't trust this book. I don't give a shit. I give enough of a shit to bitch about it, I guess.
The part of this that I objected to was just that they decide to turn into sharks.
As opposed to what, like trout?
I don't know but literally, I mean, they even say it. Like, the one thing that makes a shark go fucking crazy is blood. I can't think of a worse idea than to be sharks surrounded by nothing but blood. Like, they'd go fucking crazy and just start eating Marco or something.
Or maybe a good idea. Like, Rachel says it's like Axe at a Cinnabon, and don't tell me you've never wanted to experience the joy that Axe feels eating Cinnabon. It's like a heavenly experience.
But then they go a little crazy and they're like, but we got over it. Like, you never should have. It's the riskiest, stupidest, craziest thing to morph into. It's a terrible plan.
I mean, I guess, like, what else do they have that can breathe? Because I said trout, but actually Tobias and Axe don't have trout. And you know what's an even worse plan? What?
Eels.
Do they all have eels?
Yeah, remember when they were in the tubes in the Yamfut book?
Oh yeah, they do all. Yes, well, no, Axe does not have an eel.
Well, fuck Axe. He can leave.
Because you know what is a worse idea than everybody being sharks? Is Axe is a shark and everybody else is something that a shark can eat, like an eel.
Wouldn't they still? I feel like the sharks could still attack each other.
They did. Rachel bit Jake's tail.
Oh, right. Whatever. It's stupid.
I don't know. You're right. Eels would have been better. But, I mean, also, here's another question. How, like, isn't the distance from the liver to the heart, like, really, really long? Like, they're not going to swim there. Like, how long does that... I guess the heart is pumping the blood back, so that's not too... But, like, shouldn't they then, like, feel that pushing them along? I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. Who cares? Fuck this. It's stupid.
You know, I am going to say one thing for this book.
Mm-hmm.
When we were we did a Patreon episode about a hypothetical Animorphs theme park.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good candidate here for, I think, like a screen, like a Star Tours or a Transformers kind of, you see a screen and you're moving around and it's like 3D glasses and you're inside of Marco's body.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, then I'd be having fun. The Helmicrons are shooting at you. You're turning into a shark.
That could be, yeah. I could see that being really fun. Yeah. This makes sense. Like, you can I can imagine where, like, you're going along and then all of a sudden, like, there's a giant Helmicron and you're like, oh no! And then it shoots at you. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I forgot to say last week too, that when he's on the future train, that's another good ride.
The future train, is that the monorail? Is a future
train? Yeah. Well, because they're in the future, so it's the future train.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Next.
Yeah.
No, what'd you say? I'm saying next.
Oh.
That's your cue.
Oh, okay.
To move on.
What about when Axe says "eeny, meeny, miny, mo," and Rachel's like, "Oh, you're going native. You will never fit in on the Andalite world ever again." And Axe is like, "Yes, I would miss my Saturday morning cartoons." What about that part? That part was kind of good.
Yeah, I kind of like that part. It does seem like a character point that could be investigated beyond just a little joke.
That's true.
But it's funny.
Listen, I'm grasping for things to talk about at this point because
yeah. Here's something else to talk about. Once again, they reference Mr. King. Of course, Eric's father.
Yeah.
Again.
Of course.
I don't. Why do they treat Mr. King like he's his actual dad? Like, why wouldn't you just contact Eric? Because in the hierarchy of the Chi, he's not really his dad. Like, he doesn't have authority over Eric. It's not like Mr. King, can Eric come out to play? He's just another Chi. It's just his role as his dad. But they're like, oh, we got to ask Mr. King. Like, he's higher up or something. Like, why? It doesn't make sense. Call him, what's his first name? Just call him Joe. Like, what the fuck's his name? Why is he Mr. King? He's probably the same age as Eric. He's just in an adult body. It's all a lie. Why are you treating him like an elder you need to show respect to? He's just a robot. He's just a dog robot like they all are.
Thank you. Listen, we're never going to hit 3 hours unless we do these tangents, so... This is Lane's favorite episode.
I wish the Chi were in this book more.
That's fair. All right, do you want to go back to Marco, get out of Marco's body and go back to him?
Yeah, I'm on my Kindle just scrolling through just page after page of no highlights. There's just nothing.
All right. So Marco's back at his apartment. He's hanging around. He doesn't know what to do. He's feeling pissed off. He's feeling kind of sick and feverish. He's upset about the whole thing. And he's like, fuck all this shit. Fuck this. And so when his dad and Nora, they leave for a dinner party, and Marco's like, fuck it, I'm going back out to the apartment. I'm going to go back and deal with it. And this time he brings a steak with him. And so when he goes and the dog tries to attack him, he just throws a steak in so the dog can eat that. And he goes in to grab the camera. And while this is happening, the Animorphs are in his heart now. The Helmicrons are there. They're trying to stop him. Whatever. Fuck it. Who cares? But somebody shows up at the house and Marco's like, uh-oh, and he's got to go hide in the closet. And the dog is barking. And they're wondering what's up with the dog, and Marco doesn't want to get caught, and he's like, yeah, fuck this. I know I'm not supposed to morph, but fuck it. I'm doing it. Fuck them. We'll see if they'll survive or they won't. Who cares? And he morphs into a cockroach, even though he's not supposed to. So inside him, as he's morphing into a cockroach, it's like total chaos. Everything's getting fucked up as his body's like squishing this way and that. I think probably a couple Helmicrons die. But I guess none of the Animorphs do. But after he stabilizes in Cockroach Morph, the Helmicrons blast apart his roach heart with Dracons, and they blow it up, and Marco dies. All right.
Whoops.
Whoops, Marco's dead. There's no more Marco for the rest of the series because he's dead now. That's it. Can you imagine if Marco actually was like for real dead? Like, obviously he's not dead, but like, can you imagine how mad you would be if there was no more Marco?
Even as a joke, it is insulting. Even in jest, to suggest that Marco could die in this book is an egregious offense to my person.
Like the most plot relevant book in the series because it's the one where Marco dies.
just unbelievable.
If you miss this one, you'll be out of the loop for the rest of the season.
Even knowing that this wasn't going to happen, I was enraged, livid. Unthinkable to even you don't even joke.
Oh, I do joke. I
did. Now, at first when Marco is cooking the steak, I thought he was just going to eat it.
Yeah, he puts it in the goddamn microwave. He cooks the steak in the microwave.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he just says it's a steak. I guess it's not like a frozen dinner.
Yeah.
But I did think he was just hungry, and I thought that's pretty funny if they're all inside of him and just a steak starts coming down. What? I was hungry, guys.
Yeah. One time I took a frozen chicken breast and I put it in a bowl of water and stuck it in the microwave for 5 minutes and then ate it. It boiled it. It did in fact cook. It was the blandest thing I've ever eaten. It tasted like it literally tasted like, I don't know, fabric. It wasn't good. I would not recommend this method of cooking, but it does work.
All right. I mean, he morphs, and at least at this part of the book, I was going, okay, well, this should be interesting. Because I don't know how this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was exciting. It was like, oh, maybe they'll all die. I don't know. What the fuck's going to happen?
Yeah. What if everyone but Marco died?
That'd be good too. Or maybe, what if they went to Z space or something?
Yeah. And then they could pop into the Asculin and go to Lyra.
Which, by the way, they should go to Z space, right? It doesn't make sense. Morphing doesn't make sense.
I'm going to have a complaint about this later because the book itself is inconsistent. But like, you could be all like, well, he's got. It's like when Jake morphs and he's got a bullet in him, and the bullet like doesn't go to Z space; it just kind of falls out of him. They are not part of him, so the morphing understood that and didn't keep them. But that's not even. I don't fucking know. It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
But what about food? Like, we established that animals you don't spawn in with food in your stomach. So
that's
why?
True.
So if you're like a buffalo and you eat something and then you morph back to human, you're probably hungry again, right? Does the food stay inside of you?
That is not. That's not canon, but we have agreed that is true.
So like, what makes the Animorphs and Helmicrons different from a germ or your blood or anything in your body? What's the line? What are the rules? I don't know what they are. That's the problem.
There are no rules to morphing. No rules in Animorphs books.
No rules.
There's no rules. They did fucking 9/11.
Yes, it's called The Journey.
9/11 2.
No, 9/11 was the first Helmicron book.
So this is 3 after 37, which was both a 9/11 of a book and had 9/11 in it.
Yeah, this is Building 7. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
9/11. Listen, they're here. There's also, in terms of this whole episode is just going to be things that don't make sense because, like, what do you even say about it? It's boring. They go through his body and fucking they're there in his body.
Yeah. like nothing, like if you just reading a plot summary of this book is the same thing as reading this book.
Yeah.
They're in there. That's it.
But I got something else that doesn't make sense for you to sink your teeth in. Because there's a part where Marco's like, I keep getting assorted like commands that don't make sense. Like, I guess when they were in his stomach, they were like, Marco, don't eat anything. And he was like, sure, I guess I'm not eating anything. Marco, don't whatever, So they direct thought speak to Marco and he can hear it. The Helmicrons, I guess, are not directing that thought speak to Marco because he can't hear them. But the Animorphs can hear them, so I guess they are directing it to the Animorphs, even when they don't know yet that the other Animorphs followed them. It seems like the Helmicrons just kind of yell loudly, except that nobody can hear them. Like, even in the first book, going back to it, they're all yelling at each other. There's choruses of them screaming back and forth. The Animorphs can hear it when they're on the ship. When the ship is right next to Visser 3's head, he can't hear it. None of this, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
It's all garbage. Marco should be walking around. You should be like, I can't go near my dad because, like, I'm just... All that anybody near me can hear is just like, neep, neep, the males will win. No, the females, no. That should be, like, radiating from him.
Now, that would be a fun plot. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it would be good.
Marco, what did you just say to Nora? That's extremely offensive.
Ooh, now
you
that's
can't call
good.
her a female.
It wasn't me, Dad. It was the Helmicrons.
He turns around. I will exterminate the female. Marco, go to your room.
I'm going to have to get him a therapist. Stop visiting those incel forums, Marco.
Doesn't he, though, when he turns into a roach, he can hear them or something? Doesn't something happen where it's like, oh, now I can hear you guys?
Well, they can hear him when he turns into a roach because he can thought speak back. But maybe you're right that also happens. I don't know.
Something happens.
I'd probably pay closer attention if it mattered.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, they come up with the plan to do the same thing they already thought they should do. Right?
Wait, which thing? Where? Who?
They're like, what if we just give them the cube and they leave? Right?
Oh, no, there's like a thing. More stuff happens. They like manage to get a hold of a Dracon beam and they're like, we'll shoot you if you don't leave. And they're like, okay.
All right.
Oh, the dog's name was Buster, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I know that was important. Yeah, no, so the Animorphs, they disarm the Helmicrons. They're like, it's the same thing as last book. Last book, they turned into an anteater, and we're like, we'll eat all of you unless you do what we want. So this book, it's the same deal. They're like, we've got you at Dracon point, and they can lift it because they have ant strength, even though it's bigger than them. Whatever, I don't know, doesn't matter. They all march out of Marco's corpse, and as they're trying to figure out where the hell they are because they're in this random closet, Cassie's like, wait a second, roaches are impossible to kill. Marco can survive even without his heart. So they manage to wake him up because he's just unconscious, even though he only has 5 minutes left. Oh no. I don't know how that happened, but somehow it did.
No, there is no way it has been 2 hours at that point.
Yeah, like I don't know how.
It's like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, they know exactly when he morphed because they were in him. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? But they managed to wake him up, and he demorphs. So now they're not inside of Marco, so he can just morph into a bird and fly back. So he just like grabs the camera, he turns into a bird, grabs the camera, they all hitch a ride on him, he flies him back. They do the thing with the Helmicrons, they're like, here, we'll charge up your ship, and then you leave, just like last time. That happens. It's all good. It's all solved. The plot is solved. Marco is saved, the camera's been found, the Helmicrons are gone, and everybody goes home. And the book ends with Rachel. She looks up the spiky thing that she saw in Marco's blood, and she's like, "Oh shit, that's a rabies virus. The dog gave Marco rabies, and that's why he got all pissed off, and that's why he acted recklessly and was morphing even when he was told that he shouldn't. But fortunately, he doesn't have rabies anymore because morphing cured the rabies. I guess, and that's the end of the book." Yay!
This rabies thing is just so unnecessary and so stupid.
I mean, I like the idea of it, that Marco starts acting wild because he has rabies, and
but
then
he doesn't.
He kind of does. He's like, "Fuck off, Dad," and he doesn't quite say that, but
that's
he
just
says something like it.
He just acts like Marco. I don't think he at any point was I like, whoa, something's up with Marco this book. He's acting like a guy who currently has aliens in his body trying to kill him is what he's acting like. Like he's a little on edge, you know?
Yeah. Maybe you're just always a little rabid, and that's why you think it's normal.
No. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's why he morphed because he had to. He was going to get like caught. He was going to go to jail. He was desperate. So he took a risky move. You don't have to have rabies to not think 100% logically. It's just an explanation that we didn't need. It's dumb.
Listen, I like the idea.
Why did this
Marco
dog
has
have
rabies
rabies?
and they caught him.
Why did it's a pet dog in a home? Where did it get rabies?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. No, that is true. If it was like Cassie's dog, you could have gotten bitten out in the forest. But you're all right. This thing lives in an apartment. I don't know where it got rabies.
Like they're out walking it, get bit by a raccoon. They just brought it back inside or something. What the fuck?
Yeah, they didn't give it its shots. I don't know. They also try to foreshadow it by being like, oh, when Marco gave the dog the steak, the dog had trouble eating it. So that was kind of, you're supposed to be like, oh, interesting. It's kind of
classic point and click adventure game, by the way, is you gotta find steak and use steak with dog to get past the window.
Yeah, that's true. Why does morphing cure rabies but doesn't cure them?
Cure them?
Like it doesn't expel. It doesn't do the thing where it fucks up the Helmicrons because they're foreign, and the morphs because they're foreign. But the rabies do go away when you morph.
Excellent question. Because rabies is different.
It's a virus, I guess, so it's not quite alive. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. Because rabies is a disease, and they're just in there.
Morphing technology, the cube is programmed to only expel life forms under a certain intelligence level.
Yes, yeah. It can judge intelligence. If you can thought speak, you engage with the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Did the Andalites know about Helmicrons? Did Axe know about them?
I don't remember. The Yeerks knew about them, but I feel like maybe Axe didn't. I don't remember if Axe did.
Maybe they programmed in. Maybe they have a list, like they whitelist certain species.
Like elephants.
Yeah. Well, they have a similar animal on Andalite Homeworld.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why do the Helmicrons care if they take them hostage? Like, they're all like, do this or we'll kill you, but they're fungible and they kill each other all the time? Like, why don't they just be like, all right, blast us then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why weren't they just like, eat us that last time?
The Helmicrons are basically, they are like a bad early Star Trek alien that would be the thing that, the Trek fans joke about, and then later in some modern or later Trek series, they'd bring them back, only they'd do them in a more interesting, serious way. But this is only the early bad version of them.
Yeah, so we just get several.
We don't get to see a deeper exploration of Helmicrons.
Yeah, we get a couple Helmicrons books, and you can decide if that means 2 or not.
A couple does mean 2.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
It's a
like I
bad
said,
book.
the book is not. It's not a complete failure of a book or a disaster, but it is very like boring, and it doesn't matter, and there's very little to it that's like worth reading, which in some ways is worse.
And I mean, I can't deny I went into this one, like I said, not feeling too good.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate Helmicrons.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like. I'm like, I don't know if this is worse than other books we've read, but it's just because it's coming later in the series, I'm more exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just kind of just nothing, like you said. It's just boring. It does none of it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like in theory, on paper, I don't think that this plot is inherently bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Fantastic Voyage, we have to go inside Marco plot could be something, but they just don't do anything with it. They could have, I don't like you didn't need Helmicrons. Maybe they have to morph into germs or something. I don't know. I don't know what they would do, but you could, or the Chi have shrink technology or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
sure, why not? Like, that could be fun. It's just
Yeah.
not written in an interesting way. And there's zero character stuff here.
Yeah, and no, none of the only character stuff is that there are a lot of like throwaway you could ship Marco and Rachel things in here just for funsies.
Yeah,
That's about it.
That is the thing that you need if you're doing a silly plot like this.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have something there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, even I know we don't see eye to eye on the Buffahuman necessarily, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's something going on there with Cassie, or in the book with Myrtle, there's like something going on with Axe and them, like that's how do these characters view this? How does this affect them based on their experiences, blah blah blah. It doesn't. This book could be the Animorphs, or it could be fucking any group of 5 people who turn into animals. It doesn't matter who they are or where they're from or what they're trying to do. It's just descriptions of the inside of your body. That's it.
They don't even have to turn into animals. You could literally just do Fantastic Voyage, but for kids. They have a little shrink ship that they get in the way that they always do it in those parodies, and then they go into their friend. It wouldn't be that different.
Yeah. Let's do we'll watch that Rugrats episode.
Mm-hmm. The Futurama thing. Yeah, I mean, fucking, yeah, like that is, it really is, like, it's very boring, punctuated by a couple of chapters that I kind of like, but, like, the Marco chapters that I kind of like where he's breaking in here aren't as good as the chapters with Nora that I kind of like in 35, or like the ant horror chapters that I kind of like in Buffahuman. So like the highs are not as high as the other just like nothing boring books to me. That being said, the like nothing boring parts are a little bit like in book 35 when I was reading it, it was almost like excruciating because the boring parts were just so much like I can't there's just I've seen this plot, there's just nothing. Whereas in this one, the boring parts were like, well, at least you keep saying Helmicrons, and at least they're in a person that is different. I haven't read it before, even though it's boring. I don't know. I don't know that I can, but it's definitely on that tier. I feel like this is a book that's like, from like a technical standpoint, it's better than book 24, but I certainly do not like it as much as I like 24. I don't know.
24 is the first Helmicron
That first
book?
Helmicrons, yeah.
It's really that long ago?
Yeah.
It's like right after the David trilogy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, 2 books and a Chronicles post David.
Crazy. I feel like it happened just last week.
Yeah, we're really moving.
And it would not be that hard to add that stuff to either. If you like during Marco's scenes, there could have been a through line in there of again seeing how he's dealing with his new stepmom, or the thing about the like being in a shitty apartment and maybe he's feeling some kind of way about it.
Yeah.
You could have done something with any of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think this could be an interesting premise for a Marco book if you're willing to just not follow the Animorphs inside Marco. And that could actually be that would be a significantly better book. But I also feel like if you're writing this like weird high concept sci-fi thing for kids like this, and you're like, we want to have them go chase the tiny aliens inside him, it's like, you kind of gotta do that as your main plot. But then you actually do have to do it. You can't just be like, they're inside him now. Now they're in the stomach. Now they're in the liver. Now they're in the heart.
I would like that though.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there was he just got thought speak updates every once in a while. Like, here's what's going on in here. Like, that would be the subversion, the interesting way of doing it, because we've seen it so many times. Of course, if you're a kid reading this, you haven't seen it so many times.
Yeah. No, I would like that better, 100%.
Yeah. Or Eric the Cheese helping them out. Telling him what's going on with it, because he put a camera with them so that Marco can see what's going on.
Yeah, Eric shrunk himself. The Chi can just do that. Chi can shrink. They don't need a shrink ray tech. They can make their own force fields. They can shrink themselves.
You know that it's rough when I'm saying I wish the Chi were in this book.
They're mentioned a couple times. They're mentioned.
They are mentioned a couple times. I mean, it is still crazy to me that this is half a Marco book. I'm like, kind of feel, if you're a Rachel stan, you're probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like, you're definitely like, what the fuck, when they change up the order of the books mid-40s, and there's one more Rachel book in the entire rest of the series. And this is your second to last. You get 2 more Rachel books, and this is one of them.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like, if you wouldn't know it when this book came out, but like, yeah, if you already know that going forward, yeah, that sucks.
And it's not only bad; it's also like, it does not matter that it's Rachel.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Wild decision making there. How about some pop culture?
Yeah, do some pop culture for me.
Don't worry, folks. There's a lot.
Good, because we got to make our 2-hour time.
In the beginning, we didn't mention that they were fighting in a Dunkin' Donuts bakery, and Rachel's fighting a controller in a purple and pink Dunkin' Donuts uniform. For all you Zoomers out there, that's Dunkin'. Used to be called Dunkin' Donuts. They say that the Yeerks aren't into exploring strange new worlds. That's a Star Trek nod right there.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah. That Pepto-Bismol pink Polly did not help my mood. That's their uniforms again?
Yeah, they could have just been like the Dunkin' Donuts pink uniform, but I guess they needed another reference.
There's more dumpsters. I bet we're on the cover of the National Enquirer tomorrow. Dreaming I was on the cover of Time magazine. They're talking about taking the photos to Photos R Us. I don't know if that's. I mean, I guess I'm counting it as like a play on Toys R Us, but I don't know. Whatever.
I counted it for that reason. Yeah.
All right. The Helmicrons show up in a pink and aqua Barbie 4x4 remote control car.
Yeah, because their ship doesn't fly anymore.
Now, this is what I was alluding to earlier. Marco says, "This is so Magic School Bus." Rachel, have I ever told you that you could definitely be my Ms. Frizzle?
I see what you're saying,
yeah. Marco wants to get it on with Ms. Frizz.
Everybody does.
He wants to show Ms. Frizz some of that Ms. Riz,
Yeah, I do know.
Ms.
Is
Rizzle.
there anyone who doesn't have a crush on Miss Frizzle? Like, in the entire world?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Marco's upset because he already used his Honey, I Shrunk the Animorphs joke. He says, I always wanted to grow up to be a Helmicron Holiday Inn. Rachel is roughly the size of an American Girl doll as she's shrinking. But then there are the littles, the borrowers, Thumbelina and friends. Marco's face the size of a billboard on Times Square. If he'd been wearing Calvin Klein briefs and nothing else, the illusion would have been complete. Again.
Calm down, John.
Come on.
Just calm down.
Come on. I didn't say that. Rachel is the one who is in the text right now, imagining Marco wearing only Calvin Klein briefs, okay?
Just calm down.
She didn't need to imagine that. She, of her own brain, looked at him and said, first thought, like a billboard, like an underwear billboard. She looks like an underwear model. That's what I'm immediately going to as Rachel. I'm just saying. It's in the book.
Just calm down.
Marco wasn't in a Jim Carrey kind of space. I feel like I could take on Schwarzenegger. Fantastic Voyage. The Voyage inside Marco. Helmicron standing in a circle like Boy Scouts around a fire. The original Fantastic Voyage, of course, has Raquel Welch, who Marco remarks is very hot.
Yes, I looked her up. I agree.
All the teen boys in the year 2000 love Raquel Welch.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I did look her up. I was like, who is this? Does Marco know? And I was like, no, you know what? Marco's probably a credits watcher like you, right? So if he watched the Fantastic Voyage, he probably was, he saw her and he was like, whoa. Gotta wait for those end credits. Who was that, right? So that's why he knows the name, I think.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
That's what I think.
I know Raquel Welch.
I wouldn't have known that name, but I do know that person because I've
Get
seen
away,
her
Cujo.
Yep.
Marco calls the dog Cujo. There's a Louisville slugger that he beats a dog with.
Mm-hmm.
This is something about will sneeze in your general direction, so
Yeah, they can't say fart, I guess, because it's a kid's book. They can murder people, but...
Well, I'm glad they don't, because it's crude, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a Spam Viking reference.
That is a lot like that, yeah.
It's like a vision came an image from the Discovery Channel. Also, the vision of the drowning scene in Titanic. Only instead of Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, this nightmare flick starred a pachyderm and a handful of marble-eyed aliens.
Sure.
Remember in Batman when the Joker dropped his enemies into a vat of acid?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Is that in the Tim Burton Batman? Is that just general?
I feel like that's just general jokery. Well, he definitely
falls into a vat of acid.
I'm like positive he has like lowered his hired goons who failed him into vats of acid in like the animated series or something.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure in Adam West.
Yeah, that
he must have been done some of that.
Right.
Cassie heard some scientist interviewed on NPR once.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Axe anywhere near a Cinnabon.
Mm-hmm.
There's fuzzy balls like ping pong balls. I wasn't sure on this. I think ping pong is like a trademark name.
I looked this up. Apparently, ping pong was a widely used name for table tennis originally, and then a company trademarked the name ping pong around like 1900 for their paddles. So it was a trademark, but then I don't know if they lost it and it became common usage again. I don't know exactly. But it at some point it was a trademark. It's got a history.
Well, there you go. You know who loves ping pong?
Who loves ping pong?
That's me, Forrest Gump.
Mm.
Mama always said, you get a Helmicron inside you.
Mm-hmm. What else did she say? What did she say about that Helmicron?
You get a Helmicron inside you. You best believe it's going. I don't know. It now sounds racist. I don't know. What I'm
that's
doing.
not really how Forrest Gump talks.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Disney had nothing on the Animorphs. I don't remember what that's in reference to. I kind of like it. It's got
maybe they were like sightseeing in the blood or something. Yeah, it's like the part where you were all like, yeah, they could do the Star Tours thing, but in Marco's body, and that's basically what Rachel's saying there, I think.
Oh,
right?
is that what it is?
I think that's basically it.
Oh,
I think
maybe.
yeah. You're just on the same page.
Because she doesn't say Disneyland. She just says Disney.
I don't know.
Whatever.
What do you want?
I don't remember the content. I'm just asking. A blob ate something like Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Rachel at a 50% off sale at the Gap.
Mm-hmm.
Marco puts Neosporin on his rabies bite. Niagara Falls, that's not are we doing that?
I don't know. Sure.
I don't know.
Why not? They do reference it.
Marco says, I need to morph or get chewed up like a milk bone.
Mm-hmm.
Why, only someone with rabies would say that. Enough with the Animal Planet report. And they also check out the website from the Centers for Disease Control. The CDC.
Yeah. Yes, that is what that is.
CDC's nuts.
Yeah, that's right. I guess I also had put down Salem witch hunts on the same logic as Niagara Falls, but I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Niagara Falls probably shouldn't be in there either.
Yeah, they also reference popsicles at some point. Was that a brand name or is that generic? I don't know.
I think we looked that up once. I think that happened.
And there is also a reference to Boy Scouts that does not have to do with the sharing. I don't remember what it has to do with, but it's some other context.
No, I said it. It was when they say the Helmicrons are around standing like a fire, like Boy Scouts around a fire in a circle.
I guess I just missed when you said that. Yeah. I wasn't listening. Listen. Listen.
What's up? My throat hurts a little.
If you want to listen to more of us, I don't know why you would after this episode. This book sucked. This episode sucked. Everything sucks. But if you want to listen to more of us, you can go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/theyerkyboys. And we talk about other stuff that's not this book. Right.
Yeah, last week we talked about the X-Files. Very fun episode. So much better than this episode.
Yeah.
So much better.
And this week we're going to talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
No.
Right? The book?
No. Wrong.
No? Wrong? What are we talking about?
The book is just called The Body Snatchers.
Oh, okay. It's just called The Body Snatchers. Sure. Yeah.
Idiot.
Well, we'll talk about it this week.
Cretin.
And that'll also be better than this episode. I promise. You got to pay the $5 a month if you want anything good. You won't get anything good if you don't pay. It's all shit. Everything's shit.
You can also, if you want to suggest something for the Patreon, you can email us, theyerkyboys@gmail.com. And you can also give us your comments and questions, feedback about our show or about Animorphs in general. Maybe you like this book.
Yeah.
Maybe,
like that guy
maybe you love the Helmicrons.
On Reddit who liked book 37.
Yeah. Which one is 37 again?
The 9/11 one.
Right.
With the Garrotron.
Woo.
You got really mad at him for liking it. Jonathan's dying.
I'm sorry that I wasn't, as funny and charming as I usually am on this show. But next week I'll really bring it.
All right. I'm going to expect you to bring it.
I'm going to really bring it next week. And all I can say for next week is, Ellen Jarrow, please save us. I put so much stock in you. I've talked you up. I believe in you. Please don't let me down. Please, Ellen.
Save us, Ellen.
Ellen, please.
Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about book 43, The Test, in which Tobias turns into a taxon on the Yerky Boys.
No.